Alright, everybody. So, we have played a lot of Final Fantasy games on stream. A lot. It is the first game that I played that began our streaming journey together, right? That game was Final Fantasy X. So here, let me tell you guys all of the games that we have played and tell you what we're doing. Okay, so we have played Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are a good way through 6 now. We have played both of the remakes for Final Fantasy 7, but we have not played the OG. We have played Crisis Core. We have played... What else have we played? 8, 9, X, X2, not 11, not 13, any of the 13 games. Port them, please, Square Enix. 12, 15, and 16. So that's 16 games. We have literally done 16 Final Fantasy games. And I think 16 is a good amount to begin our lists, right? So if y'all have ever watched Watch Mojo, for example, it's kind of like that. That's kind of what I wanted to do, but stupider because... hey, gotta stay on brand. So that's what we're doing today, and I'm super duper excited to begin this. I've talked about this like almost all of our playthroughs, that I want to do something like this for a while. So I'm excited to finally get a chance to. Okay, so let's get into it. The Mod Games Final Fantasy top 5 lists. Now I could have done a top 10, but oh well. Top 5 saddest character stories is our first category, right? So it's not just backstories, but like full-on stories from start to end. I see Debra saying Sephiroth. Sadly, Sephiroth is not gonna be on here because I don't know how his story ends yet. But perhaps he will if I'd ever decide to play OG. But here's some honorable mentions. We have good old Tella. We have Bosch from Final Fantasy 12, and we have Rydia. Number 5, Yuna. I think Yuna has a really sad story because when you think about it, her life, like her story kind of begins with the death of her father, right? And she's like scrounging around, trying to, what's the word? Like, just fend for herself until Kamari found her, right? And her life is just marked with so much loss and so many people in her life just gone. And that's why she's number 5 for me. And like when she finally found somebody that like kind of understood her, that kind of valued her, she ended up losing him as well. And then her story in X2 where she's like clinging onto this hope that maybe he's still out there, maybe, but then finding out that it's not really him. That's sad. That's really sad. So that's why she's number 5 for me. Number 4 though, this was a toss-up between Auron and Yuna for number 4 and number 5. I think Auron has a really sad story as well. His journey in Final Fantasy X is marked by seeking vengeance. He wants vengeance against the people who took his friends away from him, the people who mattered the most, his everything. Jecht and Braska were his everything. They were his salvation, and they were gone. And so for many years after their deaths, he kind of like drank himself silly, taking care of Jecht's child, and like, I don't know, was just dejected and sad, and he's just sad. He's an old sad man, and I just feel for him, you know? So honestly, huge toss-up for me between Auron and Yuna for 4 and 5. But from 3 onwards, I felt very confident about my decisions. Number 3 is Cyan. As I said, we have not finished Final Fantasy VI yet, but Cyan's story is really, really heartbreaking when you think about it. Losing not just his wife and his son, but also losing the king, the person he was tasked with. He was tasked with protecting. He lost his entire kingdom, probably all of his friends inside of Doma. And this man was literally infected by the spirit of despair. So you're telling me this man does not have a sad life? He was literally infected with the spirit of despair. And like just the way that he was reaching out to Lola, trying to find some connection, trying to find somebody who kind of understood this like feeling, this like pain and all that stuff. I don't know. It breaks my heart to think about. Literally imagine Ignis losing Noctis, you know what I mean? That's the kind of like sadness that I imagine Cyan went through when he lost the kingdom. Like I said, number 3, 2, and 1, I'm very confident in my decision for. They were the easiest parts. 4 and 5 were the hardest. But number 2 is Arden Izunia. Arden's story breaks my little heart. This man, I think if you've ever been asked the question, what would you, like, if you could live forever, would you? I feel like Arden Izunia is the character that you should point to when you say, no, I don't want to live forever and live forever with the knowledge that I've lost all of my loved ones. You know what I mean? And Izunia has had eons to ponder and think about losing the girl, you know what I mean? The girl that he was in love with at the beginning of his DLC. It's so sad. And the way that it was his brother who betrayed him, who ruined his life. This man has been subjected to the darkness, to the dark celestial powers. It's just so... Just thinking about everything he went through, like, you get why he became a villain, you know what I mean? He's one of the most understandable villains throughout the Final Fantasy series, and you get why. So, powerful stuff. Number 1, I think y'all know who it's gonna be. It's gonna be my boy Clive. It's gonna be my boy Cliveifer, because this man's story is wretched. This man's story is wretched. They wanted to throw this man, like, they wanted to, like, grind this man through the coals, stomp on his face, ruin, you know, rip his balls out, everything, but give this man a moment of comfort. It's crazy what the writers of Final Fantasy 16 did to Clive Rossfield. This man not only lost his entire, like, life, his family at the events of Phoenix Gate, this man literally was enslaved for like 10 plus years, or 5 years. This man was enslaved for 5 years. Isn't that such a crazy thought? This man was like being put on the front lines, like just being thought of as fodder for each war that the Empire has gone to. And he lived with the guilt, thinking, he lived with this like raging vengeance, trying to find whoever killed Joshua. And when he finally found Joshua, the ending happened. You know what I mean? This person that, the person that was the most important person in his entire life, he found him, and like, I think the events of what happened in the Dominion versus, and then what happened in like Origin happened in less than a year, right? So he's had Joshua just for a little bit. They reunited just for a little bit, and then he was gone again. They took him away again. Golly. Next category. Top 5 creatures I would like to eat. Hear me out on this one. Hear me out on the honorable mention, okay? You're like the Marlboro? Monty, it stinks. It's stinky. There are certain foods that are like stinky on the onset, right? But then like you taste it and it's like different. Brussels sprouts are like the thing that I think of. So, and it's not just any Marlboro. It is specifically the Final Fantasy 12 Marlboro, because he looks like a Brussels sprout, and I love Brussels sprouts, and I want to eat him. All right, number 5. The Tonberry. There's something about the Tonberry that I think if you like, he's gonna taste like those like frog legs, you know what I mean, that they have in France. I have a feeling he's gonna taste like chicken a little bit. I think if you spice it correctly, maybe like cook it in the deep fry it in the way you'd cook a calamari, I think it'd be delicious. You better have gum for the fried Marlboro. I will not be kissing anybody after I have that fried Marlboro. Number 4, the Cactuar. I am a vegetarian, so keep that in mind. I think that the Cactuar is actually going to be really juicy. I think if you're able to like take off all of the tines on its skin and then like, you know, chop it up and eat it, I think that it's going to be like a really juicy thing. I kind of imagine like the crunch of a Cactuar being like the crunch of celery when you bite into celery. Number 3, the Onion from Final Fantasy 12. Him and all of his little like friends, they had like little onion monsters running around. I don't know, put them in a salad, chop them up, dice them really nice. I think that these are like legitimately so edible. Like you catch one and you just like, you know, beautifully diced, you got it. The next one is, you gotta understand, this is, I think it's gonna taste so bad. The next one, number 2, is gonna taste so bad. I honestly believe it's gonna taste like either Vaseline or gasoline. But there's something about it that I wanna put it in my mouth. And I wanna put it in my mouth and I wanna chew it and I wanna like imagine it'll be like gum. Hear me out on the flan, okay? Hear me out on the flan, okay? Don't you just want to, like, when you see these bad boys, don't you just want to, like, I don't know, like, squish it and just, like, pop one in your mouth? I, like, imagine it's gonna be like a gummy, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna taste like a gummy. That's the thing. That's what I imagine. Just like, like I can imagine myself, like, chewing it like bubble gum, you know? I bet Moogles would taste like cotton candy. The idea of eating a Moogle, like, I thought about it, but, like, it like gave me goosebumps. I don't know. I don't like thinking about eating a Moogle. They serve flans in Luca. Chat, we're gonna take a trip down to Luca, according to Debra, because they have a flan for me to try. Number 1, of course. Come on, of course. It had to be the Chocobo. Come on. They serve Chocobos in Final Fantasy 15 at Wiz's. You know what I mean? Like, I would love someone to cook Chocobo like a Cane's box, like a Caniac combo made of Chocobo meat, right? Give me that Texas toast. Give me sub the coleslaw for 2 Texas toasts. Give me the curly cut fries. Give me that Cane sauce. I'm gonna dip that Chocobo meat in there. Just I'm eating that. I'm gobbling it up. It's gonna be so delicious. You know what I mean? Oh my god! Just put it in some batter, you know, put some panko breadcrumbs on it. Oh, come on, that's gonna taste so good. Ugh. All right, top 5 villains that could seduce me to their side, okay? That like, they're hatching their evil deeds and suddenly I'll go, you know what, I need to fight you, but show me a little skin, show me a little leg, and maybe, hey, maybe I'll wipe out a town for you. Who's to say? So, honorable mention is good old Barney, right here, from Waloed, the Kingdom of Waloed. Okay, number 5. Yeah, I'm not proud of it. Yeah, probably Kuja. Yeah. Listen. He was really, I don't know, there was something really, like, wonderful and flamboyant about him, you know what I mean? It'd be like dating a femboy. I don't know. It'd be nice. It'd be cool. I don't know, you know? This man's walking around in a thong and you're expecting me not to fall in love with him? Come on. I'm but a man. So, yes, Kuja is there for me. Number 4, Sephiroth. Listen, in Rebirth, this man was looking extra handsome. In Rebirth, this man was looking extra handsome. Listen, if I was in that Nibelheim reactor and I walked in on him skewering Cloud, and he like looked over his shoulder, a little twinkle in his eye. Oh god, I'd be in a little bit of a pickle there, you know. I don't know whose side I'm picking at that point. I don't know. Tifa's dad is on the floor. I like step over his body just to kiss Sephiroth. I don't know. Who's to say? Number 3. Come on. It's the former boyfriend of the stream, Rufus Shinra. Would I kill to be the first lady of Shinra? A little bit. Would I maul Sung? Would I maul Sung for this opportunity to be the first lady of Shinra, to hang off of Rufus's arm, you know what I mean? To walk the streets of Junon during our parade together, you know what I mean? To be the Jackie to his John? I would. I would. I'm looking for a man in finance. Exactly, Lennox. You understand. And it wouldn't be for gold digging either. I would love this man to smithereens. Number 2. Let me tell you, Final Fantasy VII Remake knows how to make them. They know how to make them. What do you want me to do? I'm but a man. Oh my God, Reno could ruin my life. Reno Sinclair could ruin my life, and I would say thank you. He could walk into my church, right? Like, Aerith is a stronger woman than I. Because the moment that Reno walked into my church, my empty church, oh my God, I'm rocking that building to its foundations. It's crazy what I would do to this man. And yes, Switch Twitch did guess it right. Switch Twitch guessed it right. Listen. Vayne Solidor. There's something a little bit better than being First Lady, okay? There's something a little bit better than being First Lady of Shinra, and that is being the Empress of the Solidor Empire. There's something there that's just really appealing. That's just, okay. Hey, you know? And that scene where he, like, put all those judges in their place, I was sad, okay? I was sad! I love Mr. Solidor. Mr. Solidor, please help us, President Solidor. I would give Seymour an honorable mention. Listen, I thought about Seymour. I did think about Seymour, but the reason why I didn't put Seymour on here, and it stopped me because he was like my first Final Fantasy crush, is because he did marry and kiss like a 15-year-old, and that was weird because like Seymour's like 30-something, so I don't know. that kind of put a pause on my affections towards him, if I'm being honest. Top 5 characters that are so mother. 17, yeah, still a little odd for me. But here my characters are so mother. Honorable mentions: Benedicta Harmon and Adele. Come on, Adele. Adele is so cool. Adele is such an underrated a queen of Final Fantasy VIII. I love Adele. I love Adele. Anyway, number 5. It's Ferris. Nobody talks about Ferris from Final Fantasy V, but I will. I'm brave enough. I have the courage to talk about Ferris from Final Fantasy V because she is so mother. She is so mother. The way she puts everybody in their place, the way that she jumps across cliffs to save her sister. She doesn't care about all this affection. The way that she runs the pirates like the Navy. Ferris is literally so mother. I love her so much. So much. Number 4. Gotta bring up Ultimecia. We gotta talk about Ultimecia, okay? Just the look, the vibe. When you walk in, she's sitting down, sitting pretty, you know what I mean? You walk in, she hits you with that maelstrom immediately. You walk in, she's got like a billion different forms, left and right. Oh my God, and she serves. You know what? You know what she serves. Y'all know I'm not a big Final Fantasy III man. But there's something about the Cloud of Darkness. Being the first female antagonist in the entire Final Fantasy series. She's a pioneer woman, folks. She's a pioneer woman. She is the Lewis and Clark of female villains. She is the pioneer, folks. She is the template. She's who everyone else works for. So you have to have some respect for your elders, and that woman has to be the Cloud of Darkness from Final Fantasy III. Literally, look at her. Look at that, like, pose. My bitch pose nasty, dude. And look at that back arch and everything. She's teaching these younger generations how to do it. Number 2 is Idea. No one rocks it like Idea Kramer. Nobody rocks it like Idea Kramer, dude. Oh, nobody rocks it. She walks in her room and you hear, this woman has her own theme. This woman has her own Gregorian chants in the background when she walks into a room. Oh my god, the way that she walks into the room and the entire like ambiance of the room changes. It gets a little bit darker and you're like, oh, she's here. Oh, she's here. Like you're sitting at the front of your seat, you know, biting your fingernails, like what's gonna happen next? That's the effect that Idea Kramer has. She's too cool. So who's number one? Honestly, number 2 and number 1 are interchangeable for me. But there's something about Lulu that is elevated. Lulu has built on the foundations that Idea has, you know what I mean? Lulu has built on the foundations that Idea has, and it shows. It shows. She's walking around like with a teddy bear, dude. She's walking around with a teddy bear, and she's still putting everybody in their place, you know what I mean? She is literally the mom of the party. She is so cool. She is so cool, and literally, who walks into a fight with a teddy bear, dude? Who walks into a fight with a teddy bear and is not Mother? You know what I mean? She walks in just serving. That's her power. That's her power. She serves. She serves. Top 5 games in Final Fantasy that I'd like to see remade. Let's talk about it. Honorable mention, Final Fantasy 2. I love me some Final Fantasy 2. Would love to see my boy Furion in a new gen sort of way. But that's just my honorable mention. 5 is 9. I would love to see Final Fantasy 9 remade. I think that so many of the settings would be really cool. It's the one that everybody's talking about, wanting to see remade the most. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool. I think that it's still very playable now, to be honest with you guys. I think it's still very playable now, still very accessible now, even as a remaster. And I think, honestly with you guys, part of the charm rests within how dated the graphics are, you know what I mean? Part of the charm of Final Fantasy IX is that it creates kind of this, like, I don't know, not hyper-realistic thing. It feels very storybook when you play it the way that it is. And so that's why I really like it, and I would like a remake, but I'm not, like, chomping at the bit for one. Number 4 is number 4. Just as Debra's predicted. Final Fantasy IV, I think, would be really cool to see. There's so many scenes in Final Fantasy IV that I think the emotional impact of what's going on with Kain, the emotional impact of like everything that went on with, like, you know, the destruction that Baron was taking place all throughout the world. You know what I mean? Going down to the Dwarf Kingdom and losing Yang. I think there's so many scenes where the emotional impact of 4 would just been really good with voice acting. That's not me. Voice acting with wonderful facial animations, to see like the betrayal on Cecil's face once he realizes it was Kain who was being the bad guy. You know what I mean? I would love that. Or when he realizes that, oh god, what's the name? Not the big bad, but one of the big bads was like his dad or his brother. So many interesting things I think would go on here. Your wish is my command, Lennox. You know I'm a Final Fantasy V lover. You all know I'm a Final Fantasy V lover. I would kill a man to see Bart's Clouser in the new gen. I would kill a man to see Bart's Clouser in the new gen. I would love to see so many parts of this game remade. I honestly believe that the banter between Bartz and Lena and Ferris and Galoof and Kryl would be so good. The banter would be like the in-game banter, the one that they've been building from Final Fantasy 15 and in Rebirth, would be so good in this game. The writing is already really excellent. Add some really good VAs here, it's gonna hit. And people are gonna fall in love with how much these characters care for each other. How much, what's his face? Galoof and that one turtle teased Bart. The way that Ferris and Lena, like, I don't know, like bond and like discover their like sisterhood. There's so many ways that I think Final Fantasy V could just be as good as remade as Rebirth and 15. That's a huge say, but I 100% trust the writing of Final Fantasy V, except for the villain. But like, I trust the writing of Final Fantasy V. And look at that. Number 2 is a game we haven't even finished yet, you guys. But I already think it'd be a great remake. I think it would be a great remake to see this game, the game that we were currently playing, remade. I think it'd be really cool. I think there's so many parts of it that, like, I would love to see so many of these characters, these colorful, detailed, I wouldn't say well-rounded, because there's quite a few of them, and sometimes I feel like we're a little too spread out. But I would love to see so many of them, and this story like translated onto the new gen, right? I would love to see Kefka, especially. I would love to see Kefka in the new gen and see the kind of like, you know, like the dastardly evil that this man could perpetuate. I honestly believe that if they found the right VA, found the right mocap actor, they could have somebody that's as iconic as somebody like Voss Montenegro from Far Cry 3, or God, I honestly do believe they could have like a Far Cry villainesque in Kefka. Somebody who can get under your skin, you know what I mean? Like a Heath Ledger Joker kind of vibe. I think it'd be really, really cool. And then number 1. You know it had to be Final Fantasy VIII. I love Final Fantasy VIII. I believe that this one is I would rather have a Final Fantasy VIII remake than a Final Fantasy IX one. I think Final Fantasy VIII, bringing it to the modern day, I honestly believe if they do, they're gonna get rid of the junction system, which is gonna suck, but I would love to see Squall in the modern day. I would love to see the party just like interact with each other. I would love to see what they're like, and I think that it's going to be a more serious take on the Final Fantasy series. I honestly believe that like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth have its like really silly moments, but I think an 8 one would really bring it back down to earth in the same way that 16 does. I love the junction system, and it's kind of part of the lore if you think about it enough. It is part of the lore with the whole GF thing, but if I'm being honest with you guys, I said this during Rebirth, I don't know if Final Fantasy, I would not say never. I don't think it's a never scenario, but I think if they're gonna remake one of its iconic stories, I have a feeling they're gonna just make it into like something like Rebirth, you know what I mean? Something like Rebirth or something like Final Fantasy 16. I would love to see Final Fantasy return to a turn-based system, but I don't know. I don't have high hopes for that. Next list, top 5 gay people. It's Pride Month, we have to. Honorable mentions, we have the only 2 canon gay people in Final Fantasy. Number 5, Adele. I honestly believe Adele is like genderqueer. Like, I have a feeling, like Adele, she's wearing Renoir like a bra, but like, you know, she goes by she, her pronouns. Honestly, she could be trans too. She could be trans, but because she doesn't have the, you know, the nakas, if you will. But she goes by she, her pronouns, and part of me likes to believe that Adele is here. I don't know. And God bless. I love Adele. Go her. Go her. Go her. Number 4, the original they them. One of the most iconic they-thems of the Final Fantasy series. Come on, Kina. Who can forget the original? The original. I love Mr. Mrs. MX Kina. Number 3, come on, it's gotta be Ferris. It's gotta be Ferris. Ferris, I believe, gives me like Mulan vibes, you know what I mean? Mulan. I don't think she's interested in any of the boys that are under her command. I don't think she's interested in any of that. I think she's interested in a good... I think she wants to save a princess, if I'm being honest. when they make that Final Fantasy V remake, I want her to save a princess, you know what I mean? I want her to swoop in, like, catch a girl on her arm, you know, a damsel in distress. That's all I want. That's all I want. Number two. This man is not beating the twink. The twink allegations. This man, Kuja, is not beating the twink allegations at all. You know what? He's reveling in it like a pig in shit. He's reveling in it. Kuja, come on. This man has, I believe, would get acrylics. This man would get his asshole bleached. This man would get the whole 9 yards. This man shaves his legs, his chest, all before his grinder date. You know what I mean? Kuja is like the like, when you think of like the form of a twink, when you think of a, like, I don't know, like the hairless like early 20s twink, you know, the one who's putting, you know, who's dancing to Troye Sivan at the club. You just got me started, the body. Like, that's Kuja in my eyes. I imagine Kuja doing the Troye Sivan dances, you know what I mean? So, who's number one? Hey, number one might surprise you. Gotcha! It is Dion. You never know. Pull a fast one on ya. Pulled my boy Dion from the honorable mentions and stuck him to the number one spot because he's cool. He is literally the canon, the like first canon gay character in Final Fantasy. Of course, I had to add him. He has to be the number one. You know what I mean? Dion's presence in a Final Fantasy game got Final Fantasy 16 banned in countries, you guys. He literally got... his presence in the game series got the game banned in certain countries. And I admire the bravery that Square Enix has done. I mean, you could have done more, but I loved all his scenes with Terrence. I loved how much him and Terrence really care for each other. I think in one of the notes that you can find, Dion says that Terrence is the only one who truly knows his heart. And you can tell that there's so much love and care and affection there. The way that Dion had to give up Terrence because he knew that Terrence couldn't follow him where he had to go, and it's just so sad. And you know me, I love me my tragic gay people. Yes, I love Dion Lesage. Also Dragoon, of course. You know, I got a weakness for Dragoons. Also Bahamut, one of my favorite summons of all time. Top 5 Final Fantasy lyrical songs. So these are songs that have lyrics, okay? Honorable mention is La 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 La, purely because the lyrics are La La La, which are the same lyrics coincidentally of Mafuyu Sato's song in Given. La 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 La. Number 5, 1,000 Words, Final Fantasy X2. Let me tell you guys, this song literally stopped a war. This song, 1,000 Words, this Britney Spears-esque song, very early 2000s pop song, literally was Kendall Jenner handing over a Pepsi can to the police officers and stopping their brutality. That's what this song did. A war was about to break out between all corners of Spira, but through the power of music, they stopped it. I love the song just purely because of the vibes it gives. Like I said, it's giving like very much like early 2000s pop vibes. Like it is a song that Britney Spears could sing. I also believe that like I love the flashbacks between her and what's the other girl's name? Yuna and the other girls like things. Like I love the flashbacks and how it like clarifies a part of the story. It's very, very pretty. Very, very pretty. Number 4, surprisingly, I love me some jazz, so of course I had to put Scarlet's theme on here. If you don't know this one, it's the fireworks don't light. It's so sensual, so jazzy. Like it makes me want to bust a move. You know what I mean? Like if you go up the tower, Shinra Tower, and you just hear this like slow jazz beat, and you want to like snap your fingers. You know what I mean? You want to, I don't know. You feel like a baddie. I love Oh yes, Len. Thank you. Yes, Len. The flashbacks of Len. Number 3. This is a bit of a cop-out, I'll admit it. It's a cover of a song, but it was in a Final Fantasy game, so it counts. But Stand By Me by Florence and the Machine at the beginning of Final Fantasy 15 really set the mood. It really set the mood. Stand By Me, classic song, a song about friendship and a song about like brotherhood, especially when you like pair it with the movie Stand By Me, and it really sets the mood for these 4 boys who are about to go on this grand old adventure. And I feel like it really just set the mood, so I really enjoy it. Number 2, I won't say that it was fate. Oh, this song was so pretty, so powerful. When they performed it for the first time at the Game Awards, did something to me. It changed the makeup of my DNA, folks. It changed the makeup of my DNA. I love it's so beautiful. The cinematics of it, the lights, the sparkles, Aerith, so beautiful and stunning here, folks. So beautiful and stunning. Yes, I want it on my Spotify playlist. I need to do that. Thank you for reminding me, Defonaut. It's so good, and I love her so much. She's a goddess and I am but a worm. Chat. She's a goddess and I am but a worm. And number 1, Star Bright, say goodnight. Ooh. I believe that My Star is a song that Leve could sing. And if you don't know, I love Leve. Or Lauve, sorry. Lauve sings some of my favorites. Goddess is like one of my favorite songs right now. And it's just so, there's something like really jazzy, really sad, and really just like meditative about My Star. It tells a story of like this love that cannot be, and it's just so moving. I could listen to it all day, every day. Oh my god. I would love also like a really stripped down version of it, where instead of like the orchestra in the background, if it's just like one person singing a cappella, little imperfections here and there, it would take on a new meaning, and it would be so heartbreaking. I can imagine somebody sing. I can imagine like Jill singing that to herself after Clive's death, and it's just so powerful to think about. All right, top 5 hottest moments in Final Fantasy. I have a feeling a lot of you are going to disagree with me on this one, but these are my hottest moments in the entire series that had me like frozen in my seat. You know what I mean? I had to hold the pillow over my lap after these scenes. Let's go. So honorable mentions are Rufus sitting down, Rufus sitting down and doing the Jin Kazama pose from Tekken. That one. Change the makeup of my DNA. And sorry, Cloud, but when Sephiroth destroyed Nibelheim, okay, that was kind of hot. Okay, hey, I'm but a man. Number 5, Reno injured. I don't know if y'all were part of AOT TikTok back in the day, like when season 4 was coming out, but there's a scene where there's this character named Porco who gets like kind of injured, and everybody was thirsting over that photo. This is my version of that thirst. Reno laying on this couch, little band-aid on his cheek. Okay. Number 4, Cloud dancing at the Honeybee Inn. There's something about Cloud Strife, popping and locking it, that just changed everything for me. Him going like this, him doing this. Him doing the stanky leg. I don't know. Cloud doing the body rolls. Something different about it. There was something different about it. Oh my god. Number 3, when Dion killed his father. When Dion slew his father and then that little boy, and he like turned into Bahamut. There was something about a man in pain, chat. There's something about a man in pain that just really ooh. I'm arching my back like a cat. That one. Number 2, Noctis's dream. Noctis's dream, I don't know, like Noctis like fighting off all of these legions of soldiers, like his clothes are getting all ripped, and it's like that is fan service to a T, chat. That is fan service to a T. I get that's playing and repeat in my head every single time. Every single time I see Noctis loses Kylum, I just think of that dream scene and I go, ooh, hits different. Hits different. So what is my number one? What is my hottest moment in Final Fantasy? It's Clive pushing this rock. I know Clive was naked at some point, but yeah, you know what? Someone's naked. Big whoop. But Clive flexing his biceps like this, holding open this rock for Sid. Sid and I had the same exact reaction. We went, we both went, whew. A little chill went up our spine when Clive did that. Top 5 old people. We're coming to the end. We have 2 more categories. Top 5 old people. We got some honorable mentions here. We have Harpocrates, we have Dr. Tot, and Macon. So 2 lore goats and an old man. All right, number 5. Gotta give it to Strago. Gotta give it to Strago. He's a little kooky old man, but I like him. I like him. You know, gotta appreciate a good old blue mage here and now, you know, here and then. He's very cool. I like that how much he cares for Realm. I like how much he cares about Realm. I think it's cool. I like that the fact that he like revealed the major secret that Thamasa had just to save his granddaughter. That's very sweet to me. Number 4, Sid Sophiar. Oh, my aching back. This man's upgrading your weapons for you. I like the fact that he's kind of like an older version of Prompto in a way. You know what I mean? I feel like Prompto, if you look at his story, can go one of two ways. Could have gone one of two ways. He could have ended up being like his father, or he could end up like Sid, who is like this down-to-earth friend among the cortege, among the procession, right? And I like that. I like that. So number 3 is Uncle Byron from Final Fantasy 16. So silly, so funny, and he's like the last living member of Elvin's like generation, you know what I mean? His like little interactions with Clive and Joshua when they like returned to him. When Clive started like acting out that like scene he did when he was younger. Oh, it broke me as a man. Ooh. I love Uncle. Exactly, me too, Debra. Number 2. Had to be Tella. Tell him. Hey, tell him how it is. Tella is so interesting. Honest, like Tella was like up for the saddest backstories because Tella is so interesting. The last words he said to his daughter Anna before she ran off were that he disapproved of this like union between her and Eddie. And so like just to see his journey of trying to gain vengeance for what had happened to him is so moving. The way that he like had to forgive Edward and realize that Edward was not such a bum, you know what I mean? He was actually a genuinely good guy. Him sacrificing his life to let us escape with Meteor, very moving. So many moving scenes with Tella. But it's gotta be... yeah, Switch Twitch and Defo Not have got it right. It had to be... good old Galoof. Galoof is like... It's hard to encapsulate in words how powerful Galoof, like, his sacrifice was. How powerfully, like, he was able to save everybody multiple times when all hope was lost. Not just once, but many times against the Siren, against X-Death, against when they got captured inside of the castle, when they were in the tree. So many times when all hope was lost, it was Galoof, the embodiment of hope, was able to save them, and that matters to me so much. I think a lot of the time, old people just tend to be a joke in the Final Fantasy games, or they tend to be like, like the just a hokey elder. But Galuf matters in the story, and that is so cool to see. And I just love him. I also love the fact that he's kind of like straddling the line between the old generation and the new generation, and like how they rectified that in the middle of the story. He's also like one of the first major like party deaths that you get in the entire series, and his entire presence is just so, I wish it was more venerated than it is. I just love Galuf so much. I know I could go on and on about Galuf, King Galuf. So, final category. I thought we could end with some endings. We're gonna end with the endings, the top 5 endings, in my opinion, of Final Fantasy. Okay, so some honorable mentions are Final Fantasy 16, which I really like. I like the end of it. I think it's really nice. And Final Fantasy 8, I thought it was really sweet as well. But these 5 have rocked my soul to the very core. Here we go. Final Fantasy 5. I'm a Final Fantasy V lover forever and ever, amen. I love the ending of this. I love the idea that like that Kryl thought she was gonna be all alone in the big wide world, no grandpa, nothing. But she isn't. She has her friends. Her friends would never leave her. The fact that they were talking about how Galuf isn't fully gone. He's in the wind. He's in like the people that you care for and all that stuff. The people that we've lost, they're still with us, and that's such a beautiful, beautiful message. And I just love the fact that the party stays together too. It's just so nice, so nice. Number 4, it's the remake ending, Final Fantasy remake ending. There's something so special about this because it like entices you for the rest of what they're gonna come out with. I get chills just thinking about that final scene with Cloud and all his party against Sephiroth when he they're fighting off the whispers so that he can get the shot to end him. Zack, not to mention like Biggs being alive at this point. And you're like, what's going on? There's so many questions that are raised, but there's also like this really nice, profound feeling of like, okay, they've gotten to this point. Against all odds, they've gotten to this point, and it's really, really nice, beautifully done. So number 4 belongs to remake to me. Number 3 belongs to Final Fantasy 15. I have always said that Final Fantasy 15 is a Hamlet story, right? If you don't know the story of Hamlet, read it. Shakespeare, so good. But then you'll see all the parallels between Final Fantasy 15 and Hamlet, and it's very, very cool. It's very, very nice. And this ending puts a really nice bow on that theme, right? The final few lines of Hamlet are, sleep well, sweet prince, and may angels sing thee to thy rest. You know what I mean? And to me, them sleeping like this is so thematically oh, so good. The ending of how he has to make this epic sacrifice, him saying goodbye to the boys, telling his father to put his trust in him, and to be, it takes all of the ancestors to beat the great evil. It's perfect. Love this ending. Number 2, speaking of Final Fantasy X, defo not, is Final Fantasy X, Final Fantasy X. It is so tragic. So tragic. Just thinking about it just makes my heart clench just a little bit. But it makes sense. Thinking about, Auron's job is done, so he had to go. Tidus, knowing that he was going on this mission knowing that it couldn't end well was really sad. The final boss beating his dad, beating the religion that had hurt so many of them for so long. So many parts of this ending was just really hit. Spira being reborn into new possibilities. It's nice. It's a beautiful ending. Also the music. And the scene where all of the summons are dissolving into stardust. Oh wow. beautifully, just like stunning to look at too. So what's my number one? Final Fantasy VII knows how to make them. Final Fantasy VII knows how to make them. I believe that Crisis Core's ending, as sad and as heartbreaking, as heart-wrenching as it is just so perfect, and it just really encapsulates the arc. It just finishes the arc of Zack's storyline so well. It really just puts the nice period to it. Zack spends the entire time saying how he wants to be a hero, and throughout all of Crisis Core, working for Shinra and doing all these wrong things, unknowingly, like, he goes through this entire crisis of going like, everything I've been doing is a lie, everything that I've been working towards is a lie. So let him finish his entire life with one heroic act. And that is what made him a hero. That one heroic act to get Cloud to survive. You know what I mean? To me, that it being like tied to his arc makes this the perfect ending. And it's so I don't know. Can't say it's joyous. It's sad. And it sets up Cloud really well. It really just sets up Cloud really well. So love you, Zachy, ex-boyfriend of the stream. All right, y'all. That was it. That was the first part of all of my top 5 lists. I hope you enjoyed that.